Speaking of really weird decisions being made by our elected officials, I told you last week that Senate Republicans passed a bill preventing Donald Trump from easing Russian sanctions without their involvement or approval. And at the time, we asked the following question: what will House Republicans do? Do they do the same thing as the Senate and say, yes, Trump needs to go through us to ease Russian sanctions? Or will they be more sympathetic to Trump, which they've been in general? This passed the Senate almost unanimously, and it has now failed to pass the House. Congressman Kevin Brady from Texas said that the legislation was flagged by the House as a blue slip violation, referring to a constitutional requirement that revenue bills originate in the House. So this is a sort of technicality where if you are going to pass a bill that requires House and Senate approval, that is what would be called a revenue bill. It relates to government spending or revenue. It needs to start in the House and then be modified if necessary and agreed upon by the Senate. So they're saying this isn't because House Republicans necessarily want to do away with Russian sanctions. It's that if you're dealing with sanctions, you're dealing with revenue and spending, and thus it should originate in the House. Technically, I guess it's true. But the spirit of this bill is not that it's a revenue bill, Pat.
Well, I tend to buy the explanation only because when you're talking about Congress, there's so much procedure and precedent that goes on, and maybe some elitist bickering, maybe because, people in the House are in the lower house of Congress.
Sure.
They're kind of envious of the senators, so they want to be able to hold their ground and keep their position.
That's the type of defense that some people are making, which is, listen, it's a technicality, but it is a legitimate technicality, and House Republicans back the sanctions. They just need to fix the glitch, so to speak. I say let's wait and see. Now the explanation is it's a technicality, but a delay is a delay, and until it passes, it hasn't passed.
I just think the fact that it passed the Senate 97-2 means that it would be really hard to believe that it wouldn't even pass the House, even by a simple majority.
Well, maybe this is an example of young Patrick's naivete. I want to propose to you that there is an even more conspiratorial angle here, which is senators deliberately put support of Russian sanctions in a so-called revenue bill, knowing that the House would kick it back on that basis, so that they would almost unanimously be on record as saying, hey, I voted for the Russian sanctions, knowing it would never get past the House because of the technicality.
Oh, so maybe it's a false flag operation?
I hesitate to call it a false flag, but I think that we need to not be overly cynical, but we also don't want to be naive about the reality of what's going on.
Well, we'll see what happens. I hope this does pass the House as it has passed the Senate, because you have to punish Russia after what they did meddling in the 2016 campaign.
Well, the funny thing is, all of a sudden now they care about the Constitution, right? Hey, listen, constitutionally, revenue bills have to originate in the House. The Constitution was ignored in their support of Donald Trump's travel bans, in so many other places that I don't even have to list for you. It's all a gong show, folks. That's what we're quickly finding out. Discuss this with us on Reddit. I am on our Reddit discussion forum. Pat is sometimes, every once in a while when he has time on the Reddit discussion forum. And you can be on it at davidpakman.com/Reddit. Today's program sponsored in part by Tagadab, the hosting specialist. Whether you need dedicated server solutions, virtual private servers, cloud server options, custom server solutions, co-location services, whatever you need for your business or project, Tagadab and their expert hosting specialists and support will set you up with what works for your business or project. And their hosting services support a really wide range of customers and businesses around the world, including bloggers, tech startups, financial traders, gamers, web developers, and more. You can use the code TDPS20 to get a 20 British pound credit towards cloud server options at signup.tagadab.com/TDPS. With that, you can try out their services and save 20 British pounds, about 23, 24 US dollars. You use the code TDPS20 at signup.tagadab.com/TDPS. Check it out.